If that relationship is out of whack and out of balance and somebody's taking advantage of you, that's your responsibility. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. If you're seeing yourself repeating the same cycle and over again, you're gonna meet the same person, just in a different body every time.
Welcome back to Bourbon with the Bluegrass Babes. We're here today with Josh Bowen. Did I say that right?
That is correct.
Yes. Okay. Josh is a trainer at Aspire Fitness, among a lot of other things. Why don't you just dive in and tell us what all you do?
Well, so I own Aspire Fitness. I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer for almost 20 years. Also a life coach. I am a philanthropist. I've written 3 books. Yeah, I just do, this or that.
Dabble in a little
Serial
bit of everything.
entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Serial entrepreneur, there you
Love
go.
that.
Like it.
Gotcha. Now, how did you get to this point?
Got to get to here? Well, I drove
Yeah.
my car here, but
So three different businesses essentially. So how did you end up there? What's your story?
oh, man, on 3 of those? Okay, skinny kid, high school, kind of fell into working out. I was an angry kid. That was my way of not killing people.
Fair.
That's sort of a joke.
Sort of.
Sort of. Philanthropy, I was 19 years old when 9/11 happened. So I remember taking all my savings out and just giving it to the Red Cross. This was a monumental memory in my life. Life coach, well, as we talked earlier, people love to tell me their stories. So I love to talk about people's life. So here we are.
It just kind
So
of
it's kind of like a
place.
natural progression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fitness was always going to be my vehicle to get into a lot of these things. But as I've uncovered with my personal journey, fitness is just an expression of self. So if I love myself, I show myself through fitness instead of it being something that I will use to hide, it's just more of okay, this is my expression of who I am. Just like my tattoos.
Love that. Don't you think a lot of people use fitness as a way to punish themselves rather than...
They punish themselves and they also hide. So, it doesn't matter if it's drugs, alcohol, sex, fitness. If you're using it from the standpoint of, I don't like me, and this is what I'm going to use to numb the pain, then you're only going to go so far. So, when you build intuition, you build trust in yourself, right? And you really find out who you are, independent of other people's opinion of you. Your life starts to take a whole nother,
Just shut it.
starts to take another whole trajectory in life. So
when you approach things from a point of self-love rather than self-hate,
Right.
it completely changes the game.
yeah, I mean, everybody has a period of time in their life where they're going to learn how to cope. So the brain is very good at coping. Its job is to predict and protect. So I'm going to scan the environment. I'm going to see what's out there that's going to be danger. We don't have bears and tigers and things that are going to eat us walking around anymore. But that's where we came from. It's the evolutionary sense of the brain. Most people will, in that early childhood, will learn how to cope. Some people learn how to cope with food. Some people learn how to cope with, you name it, right? Fitness, sports, whatever. But if the reason why you're coping is this thing, then you're not actually being genuinely authentic yourself. That may be a part of you, but that's not you. And when you ask people how they define themselves, well, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a trainer, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm a real estate agent, right? But that's not who you are. That's what you do. But tell me who you are.
I feel like a lot of people can't distinguish between the two.
Yeah.
Right, and then also the same breath, if you were to ask someone, well, who do you love? I mean, you may be 30 minutes into the conversation before they even say themselves. When the first person that they should say is themselves. because you have to live with you for your whole life, right?
Yep.
And
Can't
it's
get
hard.
away.
You're a mother, right?
Yes.
And moms either love this statement or they hate it. It's like, your children are an extension of you, but you are the most important relationship with you because you are essentially training them on how they're going to deal with themselves. And if you put yourself eighth, they see that, right? And they're going to do that same thing. And that's how we get to a generation of people who, it's, oh, well, you're selfless because you put everybody in front of yourself. Well, that's bullshit,
I mean, to be frank, I feel like a lot of people, like, if you would have asked me that, I definitely wouldn't have thought to say, like, myself, like, at all, honestly.
Don't you almost feel guilty for being
You do.
like,
That's
love
what I was
myself.
getting at is, like, going back to the whole, like, people think that makes them selfless and stuff, but I just feel like people don't make themselves a priority anymore.
Well,
You know what I
feel like
mean?
It's especially prevalent in women.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Like,
It's got
I feel
to
like
be.
women like are 100% like, oh my God, everybody else,
Yeah,
Like,
who am
we're
I?
there
Like,
to serve and be
yeah.
people pleasers and
How you got to be a people pleaser is by abandoning yourself. And if you abandon yourself, your true self, who you are, then you'll do that always, which means you'll get in relationships that are chaotic. You'll get in relationships that people take advantage of you. And you'll say, oh, well, they're this, they're that. Well, no. If that relationship is out of whack and out of balance and somebody's taking advantage of you, that's your responsibility. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
I love that.
I love that.
I know.
It might not be your fault,
ouch.
but it's your,
It's your responsibility.
Well,
Yeah.
who we are is not our fault, okay? And the reason for that is because we had parents, or we had caregivers, or we had somebody watching over us, hopefully, right? Knock on wood. They had a certain set of tools that they had from whoever raised them. And now they're raising you with this X amount of tools, right? And so who you are isn't your fault, but it is 100% your responsibility.
Yeah.
This society doesn't want to put responsibility on anything.
No, I definitely agree with that. I feel like a lot of people, they use excuses or they're like, well, I have, X, Y, and Z to take care of, so I'm not the priority. But I feel like if you don't take care of yourself first, like everything else is gonna not get the grounds that it needs or like the trueness of yourself. You're basically putting this facade on and you're establishing that with every relationship you develop, every business, that you develop, like it all just, you're not building on a solid, true foundation,
Speaking from a mother's perspective, somebody said to me one time is, you're the best version of yourself, so you can be the best for them, and you can show up the best as a parent in that role. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're pouring from an empty cup, and that's not doing them any service at all. So.
And you're teaching them that too, just like you said. Like we can only grow as much as in the directions that we're taught or raised around. So I feel like that goes back to that too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, all of us go through stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
All of us go through stuff. So, we used to joke, my family used to joke, it's probably not a healthy
Probably
joke.
not a great joke.
But, I remember going to law school and I was like, well, if I fail, well, I came from a broken home. But if I do good, I came from a broken home.
There we go. See? Yeah, it's both ways. Yeah.
It's your perspective in life,
It
right?
is.
If I look through a lens of failure, scarcity, lack, that's the energy I project to the world. 100%. Then I will see that. But if I look through the lens of abundance, right? I mean, you guys are business people. You have to have an abundant mindset to be a business person. If you don't, you're going to fail, right? It's all in how you look at the world. I could look at the world and say, okay, I look at the news, right? Nothing but bullshit here, right?
Preach.
Then everybody's bad, right?
Yeah.
That's not true, right? Everybody has a certain level of, this or that. No one is truly all good or all bad, right? So, people's perspective is really what drives their life. If you want a different life, change your perspective.
Yeah. 100%.
Kind of goes back to what you were talking about earlier with the vibration and how certain vibrations attract.
And I definitely feel like that energy will spill over very easily. Like if you have somebody that's like in your business and they have that certain mindset and stuff, it definitely rubs off on the people that's around them.
It's
like
contagious.
100%. And it definitely starts altering how they're working and how they're producing or whatever the business is doing. it definitely can, you know, leak out into other people and stuff. So, and even if they have good energy, like that's going to leak out too. So
that's why they say, like, be super mindful of the people that you spend time with. What is it, like the top 5 people that you spend the most time with?
Direct reflection of
It's
yourself.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's who you're going to be an average of those people.
And I do that too. Like if I meet somebody, I definitely look at who they hang out with. Like
Same.
100%.
I'm starting
I mean,
now.
Yeah, like it. I don't know. I mean, they hang out with them for a reason. You know.
Right.
They don't just.
Birds of a feather.
Yeah.
Flock together.
So you got a lot of attraction, right? Everybody, whoa, wow, this is what I'm attracted to. But underneath that is your vibration. You don't understand what you're putting off, right? You know, people, you know, as a trainer, you ask people, okay, well, what's your goal? Well, I want to lose 50 pounds. The goal is irrelevant, right? Underneath the goal is the habits that you have to have in order to get to the goal. Now, what's underneath that? Who do I have to be in order to do all of these things? Because if who I am now is not who that is to do this, then it will never happen.
Exactly. So if you had to say, like, what would you say is the legacy you want to leave behind? What is something that, you know, kind of like impactful that you're like, you know, this is kind of, if I had to make an imprint, that's what it would be?
I mean, if you would have asked me that 5 years ago, I'd have told you, you know, I want to raise X amount of money for charity and I want to do all this, that, and the other. None of that's possible unless I do this one thing, and that's be me. That's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can sit here and we can talk about all my goals and accomplishments and all that. None of that matters. Who I am is what matters.
Yeah. I like it.
And I've fucked up just like everybody else has fucked up, right? I've done all kind of things that I'm not exactly proud of. But that's part of being a human.
Yep.
And that's the difference between people who can move forward and not worry about the past. What happened, happened. Couldn't happen any other way because it didn't. Move on.
I feel like if people didn't go through shit, then like we would all be in the same place. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We'd all be
Right.
the same people, basically. So, I mean.
Who you are today is predicated on what you've been through. Now, that's not to
100%.
say that, you know, there's people out there, it's like, well, you know, I went through this, this, and this, and I work with a lot of people that have been through a lot of stuff that nobody would want, right? But this was given to you not by your choice. What are you going to do with it?
The greater the struggle, the more glorious the triumph.
Yeah.
You ever heard that?
Right.
Yeah.
I love that as well. So, okay, with Valentine's Day fast approaching,
Well, I love Valentine's Day.
I hate it, especially now. Is there a piece of advice you would give to the single people out there that are searching for love, or maybe people that are fresh out of a serious relationship? What piece of advice would you give to them that are, you know, really, really searching for true love?
You know, I think when I coach women, particularly, and they're looking to date, okay, there is a power in being vulnerable. There's also the other side of that is, well, there's a possibility of hurt. But anytime you enter into a relationship, whether it be platonic, intimate, whatever, there is a opportunity to get hurt. You have to understand that, right? But my advice would be is to, you know, be vulnerable about yourself. Be able to not build a wall because Joe Blow did you wrong.
Yeah.
And love yourself, right? It's like, well, how do I love myself? Well, you show up for yourself. You know, there's inner child work that most of us will have to do at some point. And a lot of that all centers around, do I show up for myself? Do I stand up for myself? Do I accept the things that people say about me and do to me? Do I change my friend group? Do I, you know, if somebody says something wrong to me, do I eat it? Do I let it bother me? Do I become resentful? Or do I stand up for it and say, hey, that's not me, you know, I don't want to be a part of this.
Do you think that discipline is a key element in loving yourself?
Yeah, because you have to do it every single day.
Yeah.
And the world tells you that you're not enough constantly, that you're not worthy, you're not safe, you know, whatever container you want to put it in. The world's going to do that. But your reaction to the world is everything. You know, either the world wins or you win.
I feel like it's one of those mindsets. I don't know what the theory is called, but like when you buy a certain car, you start seeing all of those cars everywhere. It's kind of the same like mindset. Like once you change, you know, how you're perceiving people and the energy you're putting out, like you start receiving that back, or you start seeing it more. It's all a mind game. I feel like, you know.
What you want, you already have. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
And the thing about love is this. If you take a 7-month-old baby boy and sit them right here on this table, they know nothing but love. Nothing. They know nothing else. The world hasn't impacted them yet. They'll smile, you know, they may shit and cry and all that other stuff, but I mean, genuinely, that is what love is, right? We didn't lose that. We just built a wall around it so that we can't find it again.
Yeah.
So there is no finding love. It's already there. It's just, you know, how do you break down the barriers that you put around it that you can't, you know, you can't even see it anymore. If you're seeing yourself repeating the same cycle and over again, you're going to meet the same person just in a different body every time.
Yep.
Right?
It's the definition of insanity.
So how do you go past that? Well,
Hit a little
again,
close to home.
who you are is going to attract this. If you put up and allow certain things, you will encourage it. All men are not bad. I can promise you that, all right? Would consider myself a good dude, all right? Not all men are bad. Not all women are bad, right? But if we continuously are sending out this vibration of, you know, depending on our attachment style, depending upon what, you know, our dad did or whatever, and you keep going down this path and repeating the same thing over and over and over again, you have to look at yourself. It's not the other person.
It's you.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of people have a hard time like doing those two things, loving themselves and then accepting that like they're putting themselves in the same situation over and over again.
It's me. I'm the problem.
I'm the problem. It's me. I understand.
But see, here's the thing is this is what I tell all my clients. There's two things you need to understand. Number one, there's nothing wrong with you. Number two, you have no problems. You only have circumstances. That's it.
Yeah.
There's not a damn thing wrong with you, other than the fact you think there's something wrong with you. Right?
I like it.
Awesome.
Is that it? Is that
That
all the
it?
questions?
We got one more, I think.
Wisdom.
Oh, tell us really quick about Sweat for Surgeries, because I'm super intrigued
Ooh,
by
yes, yes.
Man. So this will go on starting at 4 o'clock tomorrow and run for 26 straight hours. So on the hour, every hour for that full 26 hours. It was 24, then I pushed it to 25, now it's 26, whatever.
that. 48 next, it's fine.
No thanks. We'll put on a different fitness class. So Orange Theory will start us off at 4 o'clock tomorrow, and then I'll have a different fitness coach, including myself, on the hour every hour for that 26 hours.
And it's not, we do not have
Yes,
to work
when
out
she
the whole-
approached me with it, I thought we had to work
no.
out for
There's
26
been a few
hours
people
straight.
have thought that. No, I'm the only one that has to be there for that amount
The
of
full
time.
26 hours.
Right.
That's still rough.
And 100% of this
Yeah.
is going to go to Surgery on Sunday, which is a local nonprofit organization that I sit on the board of. And they do surgeries once a month for people who don't have insurance. So like instead of them going to the emergency room and running up a $40,000 emergency bill, they can go get this routine surgery. They can get back on their feet, back on, you know, back into life.
I love
happiness,
it.
for
etc.
free.
Yeah.
For free.
That is awesome.
We're going to pay for it by working out.
I like
I
it.
love that.
I
Oh,
love
big fan.
that
So
much.
I assume that we will see you.
Yes.
Yes.
You'll see
Yes.
us.
Yeah,
We're
gonna
gonna
be
pick
there.
out. Yeah, that's our goal for tonight
It's
before
a-
we leave. Is schedule one.
It's not going to be pretty,
I'll be
but
the
we'll
one
be,
huffing in the corner.
Hey,
When
we
listen,
might
Sheila
need a
asks-
surgery.
anybody can do this, okay? It's welcome to everybody.
We did a workout class for 45 minutes, and when Kayla told me that we were gonna have to work out for 26 hours, I was like, "Did you forget the 45-minute class that we did? That we barely made it through." So I'm glad it's only an hour, so we
We-
will be on there.
There you
I
go.
think we're still recovering from
I
that.
couldn't walk.
Yeah.
I literally could not walk after
It's a
that.
little intense.
It was.
We need to come see you.
Yeah,
it was
we-
obviously we need to work out a lot more.
I'm an outdoorsy workout person is my problem. So like the winter, I just
You don't have any problems. I just covered this.
Yeah,
What are
we
you
talked
talking
about
about?
this.
No problem.
You're not listening to me.
You're not listening.
That's another one of my circumstances is that my listening skills.
Need to practice self-love and be more about discipline.
Right.
Is where I'm at.
Damn right.
In my life.
More bicep curls.
Yes.
Yes.
with the Cheeto into the mouth.
Well, I mean, this one over here, I mean, look at these guns on her.
I
Look at
know.
those.
She's
Growing
got 'em.
season.
Where'd she get those from?
I don't know.
Which-
The gun show, I
I
guess.
don't know either.
Walmart.
Walmart.
No, you didn't get them there. I've tried.
Well,
Well,
anyways.
thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.